Hey all you witches and beautiful spiritualists, it's me, Prosperity Witch Ellie. And let me be honest, I will start this video by saying I never really intended on making a Witchcraft 101 style video. However, I have noticed that a lot of my regulars, are still in the beginning phases of their crafts and practices. So today, I want to take you guys through what I normally do during these two lunar phases, that being the dark and the full moon, and talk about how I approach them in my practice, what I do, and maybe give some insight into how you can adapt them into your own craft. That all being said, today is Tuesday, March 25th, which means the next big lunar phase to happen, it's the dark moon, how ironic. And that's on the 29th, which is when this video goes up, so if you're seeing this on the 29th, happy dark moon. But anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's start with the dark moon. How do I celebrate it, what it is, and let's go. So firstly, when I talk about the dark moon, I really do just mean the new moon phase. However, in my personal practice, I call it the dark moon just because it makes sense with what I do. The dark moon is actually, and ironically, when my practice becomes the most active that it usually is. I tend to focus on cleansing, banishing, and even upping my wards and protections, cleansing my tools, my space, myself even, banishing any negativity, any obstacles, any stagnation really, anything that I just feel like needs to get out. This is usually the time when I will focus on getting rid of all of that. And like I said, reinforcing my wards and my protections, because in my eyes, the dark moon is a time where the hidden figures in the dark can be at their most prominent because, you know, the moonlight is hidden, so thereby hidden figures, hidden things. So to me, again, it just makes sense to really up my wards and protections around this time for the next month to come. And as most of you know, I am an active Hecatean practitioner, and so the dark moon is also when my Hecatean rituals really take into work. The dark moon is usually when my offerings to Hecate and the spirits that I work with underneath her, that being my ancestors, the spirits of the land, and the spirits of the greater dead, really go into effect. This is also a time where I practice something known as Hekates Deipnon. Hekates Deipnon is something that I learned from taking Jason Miller's Sorcery of Hecate course, and it's become a large part of my dark moon rituals. The Deipnon is an ancient tradition in which offerings are given to Hecate and the spirits underneath her, and it's typically seen as a time to cleanse, banish, and reset and get ready for the following month, which again makes sense with how I work with the dark moon, so it kind of just aligns. How I practice the Deipnon is typically you will find me giving grace to the spirits, giving grace to Hecate, my ancestors, the greater dead, and most of, if not all, the spirits around me that I work with. I lay out offerings of food, some sort of libations, so primarily wine, but sometimes water if that's all I have, or any other kind of liquid. I also offer some incense and candlelight. Typically when I do the Deipnon, it is really, as I said, me giving grace to the spirits and me kind of saying, hey, thank you for everything you've done for me in the past month. Let's have a big old feast to say thank you, I appreciate you, and let's get ready for this next and upcoming month. And as for the full moon, so let's talk about the full moon. So while the full moon is typically seen as a high energy time, a time of more elaborate rituals and big manifestations, I actually feel drained around this time. Instead of elaborate workings, instead of going big and all out, I tend to focus on smaller, more intimate practices. Much like the dark moon, I still do give offerings to various spirits, letting them know, hey, thank you for everything you've done so far, or throughout the month or whatever. Let's continue that. But typically around this time, you will see me doing what I call more so spiritual upkeep, in the sense of where if I have a spell or a working that I'm actively doing, I tend to look at it again, reevaluate it, see if it needs to be fed anything, see if I need to update it in such a way or even amplify it in such a way. Really, like I said, around this time, I tend to focus on my workings, myself, and what I feel needs to be worked on because I feel so drained. It is also around this time that you will catch me working in my grimoire, editing some pages, writing in some new info if I have anything, doing some divination for specific purposes, or even just taking some time for myself, whether that's like going outside and acknowledging the phase, or just doing something for me. Though I could be out there, though I could be doing some big elaborate thing, because I feel drained around this time, I really don't want to risk a burnout, so I tend to focus on doing things that match my energy level around this time, just so that way I don't crash. Because believe me, if I crash, I crash. And hey, if you also are like me and you feel lowball energy during this moon phase, during the full moon, you don't have to do big elaborate things. I'm telling you, don't feel pressured at all. Doing simple things like lighting a candle, taking a moment to reflect, or even stepping outside and acknowledging the full moon phase are perfect and amazing ways to honor and work with this lunar phase. But yeah, though my full moon practice is minimal and very simple and basic, and my dark moon practices are the ones that are more elaborate involved, this is a balance that works for me. I think a lot of people feel pressured to do these big elaborate things during every single moon phase, and the simple fact of the matter is, sometimes you just can't, so do things that match your energy levels. There is no right way, there is no one way to work with the moon and its phases, and as I've preached time and time again, your practice is your own, so make it your own. Anyways, I'd love to hear about your guys' moon phase practices. What do you guys do? Do y'all go all out or keep it simple just like me? Let me know down in the comments below, okay? I want to know what y'all do. As always, I want to make this a discussion. But anyways, as usual, I feel like I've rambled on for a good bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and go. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below anything and everything to do with the moon and its phases and its cycles. Share this video with someone who's interested in lunar magic and wants to kind of like dip their toe in it, and subscribe for more in the future. As always, make wise choices, make delicious pizza, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!